Yes. All my works are as filthy rags
Mine are
before
too.
the Lord.
Mine are too. Mine are worse.
Oh, hi there. I'm sorry I'm a little late this morning, but it's because we're a little late this morning. But here we are. I'm going to finish up my pendulum talk and other things. But before I do that, we have Constance here,
I was going to ask
who has agreed to say a few words. Now let me see how I can turn this around.
because
With all my works being filthy rags before the Lord. Yeah, there's my.
Sorry,
yeah,
I create like God creates. You have your filthy rags.
Yes, we're on the.
Hello. No, I know you. I can see you though. We're late because it's not really because of me.
No, it isn't.
Because we had to do an extra shopping, go to Trader Joe's today too, because Lon's going to Noticon, whatever he'll tell you what that means if he hasn't already. He's going to be gone for a few days, so I needed do all my shopping in one day. So I'm sure you're all wondering what I'm going to do when Lon's away and I'm not in Costa Mesa to anyway.
What are you going to do while we're in exile here?
What am I going to do while I'm still in prison? I'm going to because Pentecost is my favorite Christian holiday, I thought I would meditate on the Holy Spirit and become inspired and go rob a liquor store. and then the turtle and I, the Viscountess Emilia Tortu, are going to escape
with our ill-gotten
gain, escape to Raymond Avenue in Costa Mesa and co-author a sequel to Lon's My Life with the Spirits, only we're going to have all the dirt in it. And I mean the literal dirt. I mean, the chopping up the garden with a pickaxe and the cleaning out rooms and setting up temples and then cleaning all that up and cleaning up after parties and washing the whole house before class every week. All that, the actual dirt.
That'll be
a
tell stories thick book.
Stories about dirt. Anyway, and maybe some. Anyway, no, I'm probably just going to go. We got some bark from the, smud yard that I talked about previously. So I'll probably be spreading some bark under some pots and doing lots of physical work. Only I'm not allowed to climb a ladder while Lon's gone. So
no ladder climbing.
No ladder climbing. So, and I'll eat lots of potatoes. Maybe some.
Me too, probably.
Extra squash too, probably, because that's not Lon's favorite. So, anyway, all of you have a good weekend and pray for Lon.
Yes, literally, please.
No, really, he's going to be on an airplane and he's kind of helpless these days. So, no, seriously.
More helpless than usual.
Yeah. So, okay, that's it for the day. I have nothing really. Oh, and you all are free to meditate on the Holy Spirit too, because it's the translator that unites the world in song, just like the Internationale.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Okay. That was Saint Constance. Have a nice Pentecost.
It's always Pentecost with me.
It's so right. Don't catch the top of your head on fire.
I want a tiara, okay, with a flame on the top.
Okay.
Okay. Goodbye now.
All right.
Truly.
I'll probably be in there in just a little while. Anyway. Bye, dear.
Bye.
Thanks for those words of wisdom. Don't robble it. Please don't robble it, Crystal. Okay. With the turtle. Anyway, yesterday we were talking about the use of the pendulum and stuff, and it was... it's
letting us know they're there.
There's a wild bird doing something. Yes, well, if I'm interrupted by having a bird fly in and scratch my face, you'll know what it was. Anyway, I was getting ready to actually continue with the pendulum talk with an example of pendulum divination that I did, and truly I did it for the purpose of documenting the procedure for this book. So, where was I? Well, this is the last thing I said yesterday. That sounded funny. While preparing material for this chapter, I thought it'd be nice to chronicle the events of a brief pendulum operation. So I got out my pendulum, a nice brass miniature surveyor's plum, settled into my comfy chair, and quietly chanted the name of Ganesha 108 times to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel. Believe it or not, that is my preliminary operation for most everything. The chanting seemed to put me in a creative state of mind because I suddenly got an exciting idea. This is where we left off yesterday. It occurred to me that the power of the pendulum could be amplified if I tied its string to the end of my magic wand. An especially consecrated length of almond wood that I fashioned 30 years ago for use in my magical operations. Now, that's over 45 years ago by now. I thought it could prove very handy to be able to point the wand with the pendulum dangling from the tip in certain directions and ask things like, "Did I leave my car keys over there? In that direction? In that direction?" So I ask, will tying the pendulum to the end of my magic wand make communication with you easier and stronger? Now remember, clockwise is yes, clockwise is circle, counterclockwise no. The pendulum swung clockwise in a clockwise motion, indicating yes. So I got up, fetched my wand, and removed it from its red satin bag. And I've shown you my wand before, as we say. I tied the pendulum string to one end of my wand, which I had carved to represent its female or negatively charged end. Now, I'm going to have to digress for a second. And in the last parking lot, I drew a picture. I drew a picture of my wand. But I don't know if you can actually see it. But it's like this. It's just a length of almond wood. Okay, I talk all about its consecration in My Life with the Spirits. But on one end of it, I wanted a female end and a male end, or a positive, negative, or an active, or a passive. I wanted the magic. And so the female end is carved that looks something like that. and the other end is just pointy. Okay. I tied the pendulum string to one end of my wand, which I'd carved to represent its female or negatively charged end. Is this the end I should tie it to? The pendulum was motionless. A rare event. Now, years later, as I'm, reviewing this, it's such a profound thing for the pendulum to do, is to be motionless on that, for that end. But anyway, we could get all zenny about that. I then tied the string to the male or positively charged end. Is this the end I should tie it to? The pendulum swung strongly in a clockwise direction. Yes. Okay, we're ready to start. But I still hadn't thought of a question to ask. Then the thought occurred to me that in all the years I'd used the pendulum, I'd never asked the spiritual intelligence working through the pendulum its name. So I asked the following questions. Now remember, I'm arranging the pendulum to tell me what I want to know by asking a series of yes or no questions. Okay. You could probably make some kind of a TV game show out of this. So I asked the following questions. Are you the intelligence I communicate with when I use the pendulum? The pendulum immediately swung strongly clockwise. Yes. Do you have a name? Clockwise again. Yes. Will you tell me your name? Again, clockwise. Yes. Is your name written in a book in this house? Again, clockwise. Yes. Now, that's great news because, as I mentioned in chapter 4, that's of the Book of Ordinary Oracles, I mentioned in chapter 4, an answer from a book is the most effective way an oracle can give a clear response, besides maybe lightning. But to make sure there wasn't some kind of loophole in this answer, I continued cautiously. Would I be able to find your name in a book in this house? Clockwise, yes. Is it in a book downstairs? Counterclockwise, no. Oops. Is it in a book upstairs in the loft? Yes. That's better. If I go upstairs with a wand and pendulum, will you point out a book? Point out the book? No. Now I was stuck. I thought for a moment and asked, will you spell your name for me? Yes. Now we're getting somewhere. I got up to get a piece of paper and a pencil to make an alphabet chart, but then it occurred to me that out in the garage was a game of Scrabble containing a whole bag full of alphabet tiles. I went out to the garage and got a bag of tiles. And I returned to my comfy chair, and I picked out 26 tiles representing the entire alphabet. Now, I didn't stop to consider that the name could contain more than one of the same letters, but I went ahead anyway. I laid the tiles face down on a little footstool Constance had made with her talented little hands and swirled them around, sort of like when you shuffle mahjong tiles. I then held the pendulum over each tile and asked, and I was doing it with a wand, so it was like a little fishing pole, okay. I held it over each tile and asked, is this a letter in your name? I must have been quite a sight. A big gray-haired man holding what looked like a tiny fishing pole over a bunch of Scrabble tiles. It took longer than I expected, but I finally wound up with 5 tiles that evoked enthusiastic yes responses. I turned them over in the order they were chosen. PH O C U. And I don't know if you're seeing this frontwards or backwards, but that's what it looked like. PH O C U. I sounded the letters out and was not happy with the message. I lifted my oracular fishing pole. Are you saying to me, fuck you? Yes. Is fuck you your name? No. I knew then I was dealing with an intelligence with an impish sense of humor. Just to make sure, I asked, are you sure these letters spell your name? The pendulum confirmed it, yes. I turned the 5 tiles face down and swirled them around to shuffle them. Then, one by one, I held the pendulum over them and systematically asked, is this the first letter of your name? Is this the second letter of your name? For all 5 tiles. Before I turned them over, I asked one more time, is this your name? To which the pendulum replied, yes. And the letters were then, when I turned them over, P-O-C-U-H. And I don't know if I can't see very well, but it looks like that. P-O-C-U-H. I was pleased that the consonants didn't bunch up, but it sure was a strange-looking word. I held the pendulum over the tiles where I sounded out different pronunciations. Pak-oo, no. Poke-ah, no. Puka, yes. Really? Pronounced puka? Like Harvey, the invisible 6-foot-tall rabbit in the movie? Yes. So there it was. The name of my oracular pendulum friend is spelled P-O-C-U-H and pronounced puka. But why did it choose those particular letters, I had to ask. Is your name more correctly spelled P-O-O-K-A? Yes. If there had been another O tile to choose from, would have you selected it also? No. So much for that theory. Is it because you wanted to first say to me, fuck you? Yes. Bingo. I thanked my puckish friend and put the pendulum and my wand away for the day. Now, upstairs, okay, remember I asked if the name was in a book upstairs? Upstairs on a beautiful podium, kind of speaker's podium thing I've got upstairs, is a huge dictionary, big thick thing. So I went upstairs, and sure enough, the word puka was there. Pooka. Anyway, so that's that. And that's the end of my little pendulum story. The other day I was reading, or Constance was reading, and she read it to me from Conks on Pox. I think one of the most entertaining, important, and profound little small collection of Crowley essays that he published very kind of early, around 1904, just. But at the very beginning, in one of his little introductory preludes to the text itself, he wrote a poem called Empty-Headed Athenians. And as I've been watching the news and marveling at the self-induced, willful ignorance of individuals all over the country and all over the world, this really hit home. Crowley's writing this in around 1904. Okay, and St. Paul spoke upon the hill of Mars. Okay, just I don't know why I know this. It's a New Testament thing. Paul went to Rome and spoke at the Areopagus, which is the hill of Mars, where people gathered together. It's sort of like the Greek equivalent of the agora. Okay. St. Paul spoke upon the hill of Mars to the empty-headed Athenians. Oh, I guess Areopagus is... I stand myself corrected. Paul spoke upon... Oh, shit. Okay. Paul spoke upon the hill of Mars to empty-headed Athenians. But I would rather talk to the stars than to empty-headed Athenians. It's only too easy to form a cult, to cry a crusade with Deus Vult, but you won't get much of a good result from empty-headed Athenians. The people of London much resemble those empty-headed Athenians. I could very easily make them tremble, those empty-headed Athenians. A pinch of Bible, a gallon of gas, or any other gas ass could bring to our mystical moonlight mass those empty-headed Athenians. In fine, I have precious little use for empty-headed Athenians. The birds I've snared shall all go loose. They're empty-headed Athenians. I thought perhaps I might do some good, but it's 10 to 1 if I ever should, and I doubt it if ever I would save, if I could, such empty-headed Athenians. So, with any luck, I shall bid farewell to the empty-headed Athenians. For me, they may all of them go to hell for empty-headed Athenians. I hate your idiot jolts and jars, your monkeys grinning behind your bars. I'm more at home with the wind and the stars than with empty-headed Athenians. Well, thank you for waiting and forgive me for being a little late here on Tuesday. I'm going to do the best I can to keep daily broadcasts while I'm at Noticon. As a matter of fact, I might do several a day from Noticon, so those of you who won't be able to attend can at least get a taste of the flavor of the event. And but I never know, because I looked up the hotel, and they've got Wi-Fi, but and I'm going to pay for it if I have to, and I will. The hotel doesn't even have free Wi-Fi. But anyway, so there may, who knows what time I'll be coming on and things like that. But that starts on, I'll be traveling on Thursday, so I'll try to check in from the airport or something like that. So I'll try not to miss a day. And as a matter of fact, I will at least suggest that it may be several times a day through the weekend coming up. Anyway, I hope you'll follow along if you're not at Noticon. Anyway, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.